Right now, we want to go to our Juan Zarate, who is CBS News Senior National Security Analyst. And Juan, we have been getting more details here by the hour. And our Pat Milton, CBS News Senior Investigative Unit Producer, says that an intelligence source is telling her that Islamic terrorism is being investigated as a possible motive in the shooting due to several indicators, including the style of the attack, similar to Brussels and Paris. The source said the gunman put up a protracted gun battle with police. The suspect was heavily armed. What do you make of this, Juan? It's very early yet in the investigation.
Yeah, incredibly troubling, Elaine, in many respects. Obviously, our thoughts and prayers go out to the victims and their families. But I think, this raises the specter that counterterrorism officials have been worried about in the United States, be it domestic terrorism, international terrorism, or a deranged individual who looks like a terrorist. The reality here is you had a very committed and well-armed individual who went into a very soft target, was able to effectuate what appears to be a brutal attack, and was able to engage in a standoff with hostage situation. It does begin to look like the Paris attacks that we've seen recently on some of the soft targets, the attack in Sydney, for example, the deranged individual who attacked the cafe there. And I think we're just going to have to learn more about the individual's communications, networks, and motivations before we can say definitively what his intent and motivating factors would be. But certainly counterterrorism officials have been saying for a long time that their great concern with terrorism in the homeland is a scenario like this, which is an individual who decides to attack with ferocity on a soft target and does so with not only intent but capability. And that is probably what authorities are looking at from a counterterrorism perspective right now.
And so, Juan, in an investigation like this, where we have this intelligence source talking about some of the investigative work that's being done looking at Islamic terrorism, what are the things that law enforcement officials are going to be looking for? Obviously, who it is that this person may have communicated with, but what other kinds of potential red flags might indicate a plot that is larger than a self-directed plot?
I think the first thing they're going to do is look at this individual himself. They're going to dig as deeply as possible into who this person is, with whom he's been communicating, family networks and friend networks, any travel, of course, in recent days to see whether or not there's a connection to international terrorist organizations. And so they're going to build out from looking at that individual deeply and broadly in terms of the networks. They're also going to be looking at any intelligence information around this event. Was there anything indicating that there could be an attack like this in Orlando, not just based on local information, but based on information coming from elsewhere, other sources, other intelligence capabilities. And then finally, we're going to be listening, no doubt, to what terrorist groups like the Islamic State say. They've not been shy about claiming responsibility for acts that they have either directly been responsible for or that have been inspired by their narrative and their motivations. And so we'll just have to see. What we've seen in the past in some of these cases is that individuals like this, perhaps who've been motivated or been part of a broader Islamic terrorist organization or movement, have been inspired by individuals like Anwar al-Awlaki, the American Yemeni cleric. And we've seen that those types of individuals have listened to his sermons and his videos, and even though he's now dead, that type of an individual continues to serve as a motivating actor and voice for Western individuals who've fallen prey to the ideology of al-Qaeda and the Islamic State. So we'll just have to see what we learn, but no doubt we're digging deeply into the individual, his communications, his networks, and then trying to look for any clues in the environment to indicate intent and capabilities.
All right. Juan Zarate, our CBS News Senior National Security Analyst. Juan, thank you so much for your insight. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Elaine.